In our modern day, it is all too common to hear someone say, TikTok is ruining today's kids' attention spans, and in a few years, no one will be able to hold a conversation anymore. I personally hear that all the time from multiple sources. I've seen it online, on the news, in YouTube videos in their comment sections, and even my girlfriend said, scrolling through TikTok is bad. It shortens your attention span and causes your brain to always be looking for dopamine. Like she actually got mad at me for a second for using the app. And I feel like this is yet another example of people blowing things out of proportion, and just buying into anything that sounds plausible. And after extensively researching this topic using a myriad of scholarly sources, I can confidently say that TikTok and YouTube Shorts are not having nearly as much of a negative effect on attention spans as most people think. Now I understand, and I'm not denying the fact that they're not having a positive effect on them either. Just clarifying that. But it's not as drastic as the majority of people believe it is. Now we all know that videos where it's just talking/audio with something in the background get more engagement, views, and watch time. However, this is simply because humans like to mindlessly stare at something as listening to a video's audio. This information is useful to understand the mindset of people who make a certain type of content that always seems to be on everyone's FYP, For You page. This type of content is a lot of people's smoking gun of evidence that TikTok and YouTube Shorts are ruining attention spans, because most clips on TikTok and Shorts have some other video on screen as well as the clip. A famous example of this is Family Guy clips with Subway Surfers gameplay alongside them. People everywhere are convinced this is because Gen Z and Gen Alpha cannot even watch a 6-second video clip without looking at something else to distract themselves. Now this is no doubt true for some people, but I know for a fact that majority of these content creators are using this as a cover-up for what is really going on. As a content creator myself, and having studied computers and cyber laws in high school, and will continue to in my future in college as part of cybersecurity, I know damn well about copyright laws and how to avoid them, / how people do avoid them. Most accounts that post these clips know that fair use only goes so far in practice, so they have to find a way around that. These multiple video clips are perfect for sneaking past copyright detecting programs that YouTube and TikTok have built in. After all, what sounds better? I'm committing copyright infringement and abusing fair use and want to hide it, so I add gameplay clip? Or I want people to watch the full video, so I'm adding something in the background for them to watch while listening to the clip. Exactly. So they use this as an excuse to cover up what they are really doing, and the public buys into it and eats it up because that's what the public and the media do best. I have been watching YouTube pretty much all my life, and I've seen it all when it comes to avoiding copyright. From the video, episode of a show, zooming into random parts constantly, to putting the video in a small square on a larger generic background, to even putting a person signing in the corner. All of these worked at some point or another. However, this method I previously talked about isn't as obvious as those. Plus, they have a valid excuse for why they do it rather than admitting they're avoiding copyright. And furthermore, unlike full episodes, clips are much easier to call fair use on. They can just claim it as an accident and say they thought it was fair use. So an employee of the video service will take down that one video and send a copyright detecting bot to their channel to see if all their videos are copyrighted. And when that bot doesn't detect anything else, they will accept it as an accident and leave the channel up unharmed, free to keep posting. And the cycle will continue. Now I know realistically they're going to catch on eventually. I'm surprised they haven't yet, honestly. And then people will find another way to trick the system. But this current situation impacts much more than just the people involved. It's making short-form content and 2 whole generations look bad in the process. And I honestly don't understand how more people haven't figured all this out yet. It's almost like they don't want to stop and think about it because then they might realize they were wrong the whole time. And we all know that won't happen. Now there are many explanations that prove TikTok is not the main source of waning attention spans, and there is even more evidence proving this has been an issue for a while, even before TikTok was around. In an article published by the Daily Telegraph in London, UK, on November 27, 2020, it clearly states that experts believe that TikTok is not to blame for children's low attention spans, and instead the blame is to be put addiction on social media and devices in general. This is evidence when she says, it's not the kid's fault for being on TikTok too much. She concluded, it's the parents for allowing it. Truthfully, can any of us deny it? Now, I personally disagree with this conclusion. But the main point is still very clear that it is not TikTok alone that is responsible for low attention span in 2023. Even if they are blaming technology and social media in general. Because it is very easy to jump on the boogeyman that is taking your child's attention away from you and the real world. Like when the article says, adults don't understand the effect social media is having on their children. They are addicted to the dopamine rush they get when someone likes their post or a message pops up on their screen. And as with all addictions, they need to spend longer in order to achieve the same buzz. Again, I personally don't think this is truly a bad thing like they say it is, but the fact is they made it clear that it is not watching TikTok that ruins attention spans. Side note, once again, I think this is a flawed argument because by that rationale, adults are addicted to getting money at their jobs, Beautiful women are addicted to getting compliments, It just doesn't make sense at the end of the day to say you're addicted to something you like doing, you like getting. More evidence of my point can be found in this highly unbiased article titled, Is TikTok Shrinking Students' Attention Spans? Written by a Miss Sarah Goodenow and published by University Ryer, Carlsbad, on November 17th, 2021. The evidence I'm referring to is found mainly when the article states that Karpinski, the person studies, likes the short duration of the videos on TikTok because if the video is longer than 40 or 45 seconds, she gets bored. Since downloading the app in summer 2019, it has become a distraction to her both during leisure time and while doing homework. During homework is absolutely a bad choice to get on TikTok as you won't get anything done, obviously. However, I think it's perfectly natural to have the urge to. When you're doing something as boring as homework, we all know something else will always be on our mind. Whether consciously or not, you will almost always be wanting to do something else. However, I think the problem lies in just being bored. Because getting on your phone is the easiest way to cure boredom, and TikTok is probably the most common cure because it's the easiest and the most accessible thing you can do. And it's because it's the one people have the most. They associate it with a major distraction and think it's becoming detrimental to their ability to focus long term, when in reality, if TikTok never existed, they would just be thinking about something else, and be equally as distracted. It's like that old phrase I love to say and live by. It's not bad that you have the thought, it's only bad if you act on it. And I think people today just don't keep that in mind anymore. My point is that us as humans are just plain wired to want to do things that engage us. And homework/work in general is probably the least engaging thing you can do. So is it really such a sin to want to do the opposite and be thinking about it while trying to work? Is it honestly the fault of the thing you'd rather be doing? I don't think so. My final evidence supporting my main point can be found in this article published by the Gazette Montreal, Quebec, titled 4 Second Society, Firms V for Our Shrinking Attention Spans. Final edition. All the way back in 2006, on August 28th. Written by a Mr. Shannon Proudfoot. And in summary claims that low attention spans can be traced way back to our caveman days, because back then, we needed to be ready to focus on anything at any time. So having a low attention span back then was necessary for survival, but today it's looked at as some sort of brand new sin we must repent for if we have it and need to do or stop doing everything we can to solve it. Not actually biblically speaking, of course, it's just a metaphor. I think it's pretty ironic that this article states that one web design company now advises its clients that a user will focus on their site for no longer than 30 seconds. Sound familiar? And keep in mind this article is from 2006. Long before TikTok or YouTube Shorts were even an idea. Before social media really took off to the level it would become. Way before Vine would really start the idea that short-form content was killing attention spans. And I highly doubt anyone was thinking to themselves, this TV show I've been watching for more than 1 minute is so boring. I'm gonna go get my instant gratification on MySpace or AOL Instant Messenger. Almost like social media and short-form content might not be the cause of people's low attention spans? Who would have thought? And one piece of evidence that's off script, I want to say, is actually my dad, who's in his 50s now, has such a low attention span, and he has before he even knew what a TikTok was. Like, my videos I made 10, 11 years ago, he's like, no one's going to want to watch those because they're over 30 seconds. He's in his 50s. He can't even look at a book and read it for a long time because he has such a low attention span. And he grew up in the days of movies and TV shows. So obviously this isn't a new thing. And there are plenty of people I know who are just like him his age. It's just crazy to me to think about that people think this is a brand new idea. And they just want to blame TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels like they're the bad guys, Like, it's just insane to me how so many people jump on this bandwagon at once. Like, I don't understand. Why? In conclusion, I personally feel I've made my point known and shown why I feel that way. TikTok is not the cause of shortened attention spans, and they are nothing new, like the media is portraying them to be. It is simply a part of human nature to be easily distracted and want to succumb to those urges or want to purge boredom. After all, humans need engagement, and I don't think this new source of entertainment and dopamine is really going to change anything now or 1,000 years from now. So it's honestly nothing to worry about, and I don't think it ever will be. So my closing thoughts on this situation. I personally feel that TikTok and YouTube Shorts are just the scapegoat people go to when they just want to be freaking lazy, They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so lazy because my work ethic was lowered by these super fast contents. Like, what? Like, oh my gosh, I feel so guilty because I watched 30 videos in the time it would have taken me to watch one 30-minute video. Like, you're still spending 30 minutes on the platform, but you got 30 times more done. Like, how do you not see that as a good thing? Okay, let's say for 5 minutes, that is a bad thing, you know? Let's go with it. Let's say that you would have only watched a 10-minute video, but instead you watched 31-minute videos. Side note, that would never happen because obviously you're at least very rarely going to get 31-minute videos in a row in the shorts feed, but whatever, let's say it on the F chance you do. And now you've wasted double the time you would have. Well, honestly, is that really the app's fault? Like me, I make short form content. Thousands of people watch every single one of the videos I release. Yet, I don't think I'm a detriment to society. I don't think I'm the reason why they're going to fail high school. And neither should you. You, as the viewer, shouldn't think that that's the reason, you know? The only way it would be the app's fault is if you had no idea these things were happening to you. If you had no idea that you had a custom algorithm tailored to only you that makes you want to spend more time on the app. If they had never told you that, nobody ever talked about that, then maybe, yeah, I understand why you'd be mad at that. But the fact is that you know what you're getting yourself into. So yeah, you know, I'm not trying to place the blame on you guys. I'm just trying to say don't blame the app. If you have to blame something, blame yourself. But I'm saying don't blame anything, you know? It's just human nature to be bored. It's human nature to want to go on TikTok. Like me, I was doing work earlier. I wasn't thinking about going on TikTok. I was thinking, oh shit, I have a deadline. You know? But normally, when I'm doing something else, I'm thinking about, you know, shit, I want to do this. Not just go on TikTok or YouTube Shorts. Shit, I want to go driving. Damn it, man, I want to watch TV. I want to, you know, do stuff with my girl, you know? These are all things I think about. Doesn't mean I'm addicted to all of them. I'm not addicted to going out and driving a car. You know? Actually, I do want to touch on one more thing. Also, side note, if you guys want to read more about this and read what I have to say about the articles, the comment section below, the description I mean, has this link to this essay. So you can read it yourself. And yeah, you know, see what whatever, see what you want. And also read about the articles. Plus, the original articles are linked there too. So yeah, go ahead. When I was citing these works, I wrote one paragraph on the article, the first article I mentioned. Don't blame TikTok for short attention spans. They did telegraph, you know, yada yada yada. And this is what I had to say about it. I feel the evidence they used is invalid because they said, her, the daughter's daughter, aka the expert's analysis, explains the rage we get when we confiscate their phones or tablets, then, and the general grumpiness after they've been hunched over for too long. Now, I'm not going to claim to know anything about the second part of that claim, grumpiness being hunched over, but I know a lot about the first claim, and it goes back to not being able to do something you want to do. A great example of this is when you ground your teenager from their car. They will get upset, and understandably so. They might lash out or rage or slam the door. It's not because they are addicted to driving or addicted to seeing their friends are going out. It's because they are losing a privilege, so they will naturally be upset. I feel that devices and social media is the same general principle at the end of the day. So I think the article is incorrect in assuming its addiction to social media that is ruining the children's attention spans. I'll possibly use this article as an example of maybe buying into a common meta and rolling with it as fact, and also why social media addiction isn't as common or as bad as people make it out to be. I think I defended my point really well there in saying that it's not like they're addicted to these things like, oh my god, I need to go on TikTok. It's like, you know, you're losing your privilege. How'd you feel when you were younger and your parents took away your car or said you couldn't go out with your friends or said you couldn't see your boyfriend for a week because you did something wrong, you know? Were you like, okay, and went back to your room and read the Bible? Or were you like, okay, maybe not I hate you. Maybe that's too far. But were you like, I hate it here. I can't wait to move on and get my own place and slam the door, you know? Maybe not. Maybe you didn't say that, but you're probably thinking it for sure. You probably didn't say that because back then your parents would beat the shit out of you. But, you know, I mean, like, you were thinking it at least, right? My mom says commonly, you know, back then they used to tell people to scream things into their pillow. Maybe one of those things was, I hate it here. Or, like, you know, in your own mind, you're like, I can't wait to move out and get my own place so I don't have to live under their rules anymore. You know? Obviously, you're mad because you lost a privilege of yours. Not because you're addicted to seeing your boyfriend. Not because you're addicted to going to the mall every Friday at 5 p.m. It's because you're losing something you want to do. And that's human nature to be angry about that and upset about that. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this. Thank you guys for watching. Again, essay in the description. Read it. Give me your comments on it. And yeah, say whatever you want. Make a response video if you want, you know? I look forward to it. I'm sure this is going to be a hot topic. So, you know, it's fine. I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of fucking parents saying, oh my god, you're part of the generation, of course you're going to think that way. Or, he's working for China. I fully expect to get those comments, and I don't really mind at all. But if you want to have any real conversations about this, let me know in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys about this. Counter my arguments, do whatever you want to do. Yeah, it's awesome, I really want to share this. I really want to get this out there. Thank you guys for watching. Please do like, comment, subscribe, and peace out, suckers. Thank you for watching.